By the end of today's episode, you'll know exactly how to keep your professional career and your acting identity separate, so you can pursue acting without worrying about what your colleagues or clients might think. Welcome to the Actor's Career Compass, where we help aspiring screen actors find high-quality auditions, sign with great agents, and book major roles in legit productions. I'm your host, Martin Benson, and today I'll be covering how to create a clear separation between acting and a different career, how to market yourself as an actor without it affecting your professional job, and the best ways to manage your online presence. All right, so first off, let's talk about creating an acting identity. Okay, so you should definitely consider a stage name or some sort of variation of your real name, right? So if your name is John Smith, maybe it's Johnny T. Smith for acting or something, right? This way, when people search for one name or the other, they're unlikely to find your alter ego, right? And you can actually find out. One of the reasons, I've done a podcast on this, but one of the reasons that people use stage names is because the SAG-AFTRA database only allows one actor to have one name. So I recommend that you look in their database to see what name you could use. This way, your acting name is not something that would be in conflict, let's say, with someone else later on, and then you don't need to create another stage name once you're ready to register for SAG-AFTRA, okay? Now, obviously, it's possible that if you pick a stage name for now, and it takes you a few years to be able to become union eligible and join SAG-AFTRA, somebody might have taken that name between now and then, but, at least you're giving a better chance to yourself than starting with a stage name that someone already has, right? So another thing that you're going to want to do is separate email addresses that you use, one for acting and one for your career. So obviously this way people are not emailing you at the same place and getting confused. You can also use a dedicated phone number. So Google Voice can be a forwarding number that you use for acting related calls. And so it's free, or at least as of the time of this recording, I believe it's free. And there's other services that allow you to create a free sort of alternate phone number. And what's nice is then you can give that number out to people and they'll call you. And then anytime that you get a call, it'll label it as such as coming through Google Voice, and you'll know that it's an acting related thing. So you might answer differently than you might answer for a work call, right? Like I say, like City Headshots, this is Martin, when someone is calling my business headshot line. But if someone's calling my acting related phone number, which is a Google Voice forwarding number that I use that comes to my cell phone as well, then I usually say, hello, this is Martin, because people are calling me to ask like coaching questions and stuff, like clients of mine. So I don't need to say City Headshots, this is Martin, because I don't want to confuse people. All right, the next thing that you can do is you want to take control of your online presence. Okay, so if you are on a lot of social media or you enjoy that, you should build or create like a separate social media account for acting. So like whether it's Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook, just kind of like separate the two, again, using the stage name so that you have different profiles. And then you can adjust your privacy settings on your personal accounts if you don't want people who are searching for your acting work to be able to find your other personal account, okay? Now, don't forget to check Google as well and see what shows up. So you should find out what appears on Google when you're searching your name and your stage name, and just make sure that that's what you want people to see when they're searching for those things. And if it isn't, at least you're aware and you can look into how to fix things that might be problematic. I also recommend that you set up something called Google Alerts so that anytime something changes or an article is posted or something is written about you, you get an email alert sent to your email just telling you like, hey, something has been posted online, you might want to check it out, and it'll link to it. So then you can click and see what that thing is. And if it's problematic, you can go about removing it right away. Now, the third thing that you want to take into consideration is to be strategic when it comes to networking. Okay, so When it comes to networking for acting, you should potentially consider creating like separate acting business cards and have like a website that's specifically for your acting work. And as we said before, a separate email address for that. This way you're not like giving out your day job credentials. And if you're asked about your acting work at your regular job, you should sort of at least have an idea of what you want to say if someone finds out about it, right? So if they're like, hey, I was Googling the other day and I happened to see like, are you getting involved in like acting or something? What's going on with that, right? And like if you're thrown off, you'll be like, right? So you want to think about it in advance so that if someone does ask, you just keep it casual response. Like, oh, it's just a creative thing that I'm starting to enjoy doing on the side. It's definitely not going to affect my work. Or, I do some acting in my spare time for fun, but my main focus is still this job. Most people don't have a problem with people having hobbies. And so if you kind of treat acting as a hobby for now, and you don't have to tell them like, oh yeah, I just booked a big Law and Order thing and, I'm looking to pursue it a lot more soon, right? Don't tell them that. I did another recent episode on how to sort of divide your time between personal and like your career and your acting, and how to get into acting without quitting your current job. So I do recommend listening to that. I think it's just in the past couple of episodes, so you can probably find it. But yeah, I mean, you want to have some sort of response, and you just want people to feel like, again, people who are not actors, who are like in your regular job, they should feel like your acting is just sort of something that you're doing for fun. And then the people in the acting world should think that you take your acting super seriously, obviously, right? You don't want them to think you're just doing it for fun. That's kind of like the best way to go about it, because you're not necessarily lying. I mean, yeah, sure, if you book like a series regular on a television show and you need to devote all of your time to it, well, yeah, you're probably going to have to quit your job. And at that point, it's becoming way more serious. But don't go that route or think that that's going to happen right away, because it usually takes time, okay? Lastly, I want you to just sort of take into account scheduling and also contractual obligations, right? So obviously you want to make sure that you schedule your acting commitments around your job so that there's no conflicts. And you want to also make sure to honor contracts or your company's policies when it comes to side jobs or even media appearances, right? Certain contracts might say that you can't appear in certain media, or they might say you can have a different job. So just read through your work contract and also your company's handbook to just kind of be sure that you're not breaking any specific rules. I'm not a lawyer myself, obviously, so just keep that in mind. I'm not telling you to do things that are not allowed, and I can't advise on that. Just to keep things like proper, I also generally advise that you try to use like vacation days. If you get a big acting job, then you need to take off for it rather than calling out sick, just because, I mean, it's more ethical, I guess. I'm going to leave it to you to make any other choices that you want to make, but just kind of keep those things in mind as well. What I generally recommend when it comes down to it is just build your acting career without disrupting your current job so that you can position yourself to eventually start acting full-time, if that's your goal, once you have enough acting work lined up. Only at that point should you consider quitting your other job. Well, thanks for listening. Now, if you'd like a step-by-step overview of the typical path that most screen actors follow as they grow their careers, just go to bit, so B-I-T, like a little bit of something, bit.ly/actor career chapters. Okay, again, that's bit.ly/actor career chapters. I have a detailed map showing exactly what to expect as you move from one level to the next in your career. Many actors have emailed me saying how helpful it was to have a clear sense of where they are and what the next steps should be for them to keep moving forward. That address again is bit, so B-I-T, like a little bit, bit.ly/actor career chapters. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.